am Dr. Jesus John, Assistant Professor, Department of Anatomy, Jyoti Vidyapith Women's University, Jaipur. Today we will discuss anatomy of the breast. First, we will discuss the structure of the breast. Then we will discuss the nerve supply of the breast. Then we will discuss the artery and veins that supply of the breast. And we will discuss about the lymph drainage and what is the important structure in the breast. All we will discuss in the lesson. हमेशा खुश रहो बिटिया. First we will see the introduction of the breast. Breast is modified sweet gland, and we can say this is the apocrine gland, and sometime we will see the breast as a mammary gland. Breast is present in both sexes, but it is rudimentary in male but well developed in female after puberty. What is the location and extent? Situated within the superficial pectoral fascia, and the superficial fascia splits to enclose the breast to form the anterior and posterior lamellae. What is the extension of the breast? Vertically, it is extended from the second rib to sixth rib. You can say from the clavicle above to the seventh or eighth rib below. Horizontally, what is the width of the breast? The midline and lateral border of the sternum from medial to the mid-axillary line, that could be lateral side. Horizontally, it will be uh, locate from the uh, lateral border of the sternum and to the mid-axillary line. Now, vertically, it is located from the second to sixth rib. So, it is the space that it will take to be placed there. So, we can see in this picture how it is located, and this is the second rib, and we can see sixth rib also. So vertically it is present from there, second rib to sixth rib, and in front we can not see because this is the coronal plane of the breast, and we can see here the skin, and there is the fat and some lobules, and we can see uh, the muscles also, that is the pectoralis muscle, and we can see very clearly the breast is situated on the muscles, that is pectoralis muscles. Floor, the floor of the breast, the floor is formed by the deep pectoral fascia. The overlies pectoralis major and serratus anterior superiorly, and external oblique and its aponeurosis inferiorly. Breast in section, then we can see the pectoralis minor muscles here and pectoralis major, and the deep fascia of the pectoral fascia and suspensory ligament, submammary spaces, and the deep fascia and superficial fascia also, adipose tissue, and the secretory lobules here. So here in this picture, that is divided into two parts. One part is non-lactating breast, and other is during the lactation. So you can see here the lobules are enlarged, that is filled with the milk, and the upper part of the breast there is the lobules, that is the devoid of milk. Now we can see the muscles of the breast. The pectoralis major What is the anatomical significance in relation to breast? It is the major muscle mass posterior to the breast, and lymphatic from breast piers and circumvent it. Pectoralis minor, superior portion crosses anterior to axillary sheath, dividing the axilla into low, mid, and high region, and interpectoral nodes lie immediately anterior. Serratus anterior, medial wall of the axilla, and major muscle mass deep to lateral one third of breast, where it is situated. And latissimus dorsi, that is situated the posterior wall of the axilla, and the fascia continues with axillary fascia. So there is the clinical significance also, and this is the more relevant during the mastectomy. Mastectomy means removal of the breast during the treatment of the cancer or the carcinoma of the breast. So there are four quadrant of the breast, and breast is a circular thing, and we have divided in four equal region, that we will say the quadrant, and there is two quadrant that is situated on the upper side, then we will say upper quadrant, and in uh, horizontal plane, we can say the quadrant below this line, that is the lower quadrant. Now we will divide this breast region from vertical line or the mid-sagittal line, and two part, the outer and inner part. Then we will divide again upper quadrant and lower quadrant into two more quadrant. So there is the upper outer quadrant and upper inner quadrant, and in the lower side we will see here the lower outer quadrant and lower inner quadrant. So there is a long extension of the upper outer quadrant. Then we will say this is the tail of the spines, and this upper outer quadrant is more prone to the cancer of the breast, carcinoma of the breast. So there is the located part, that is the upper medial, upper lateral, and lower medial. Lower lateral, we can say this is the upper inner and upper outer part also, and the central area. What is the axillary tail? It is the named after James Spence, a Scottish surgeon. The superior lateral quadrant is prolonged towards the axilla along the lower edge of the pectoralis major, from which it projects a little. It may extend through the deep fascia up to the apex of the axilla. It can be sometimes mistaken for an enlarged lymph node anterior or the pectoral enlarged lymph nodes, but it is not the true always, because it is the axillary tail, and it is the extension of the upper outer quadrant into the axillary area. And the name of the Scottish surgeon James Spence, it is also called the tail of the Spence. And sometime now we will, in anatomical term, we will say axillary tail. The structure of the breast, it is divided into three parts, that is the skin, parenchyma, and stroma. And skin is again divided into the nipple and the areola. And the parenchyma, we can see this whole kind of the fatty tissue here, and the stroma also here. In this colorful picture, we can more differentiate nipple and areola, and this is the regular uh, surface, that is called a tubercle of Montgomery. The nipple is composed mostly of collagenous dense connective tissue and contain numerous elastic fibers which wrinkle the overlying skin. So that is uh, the thing we can see here. This is the tubercle of Montgomery. Why it is made up? The nipple is composed mostly of collagenous dense connective tissue and contain numerous elastic fibers. That is why there is the wrinkle of overlying skin. Usually lies above the inframammary crease level with fourth rib, that is the just lateral to the mid-clavicular line. The average nipple to the sternal notch measurement in a youthful, well-developed breast is 21 to 22 centimeter. An equilateral triangle formed between the nipple and the sternal notch measures an average of 21 centimeter per side. So this measurement is more important in the surgical approach of the breast. Lobes, they are situated in 15 to 20 numbers and it is composed of glandular structure called lobules which empty via ductules into lactiferous ducts. What is the lactiferous ducts? It draining each lobe of the breast pass through the nipple and open onto its tip as the 15 to 20 orifices. It contains ampulla near its end and it is as the reservoir of the milk or the abnormal discharge. Abnormal discharge will be in the disease of the breast. So we can see here in this structure lobules, then ductules, then lactiferous duct, and it is opened into the lactiferous sinus. And lactiferous sinus opens uh, to the orifices on the nipple. So we can see lactiferous duct. Then this is the lactiferous sinus, and this is the lactiferous orifices that is situated on the nipple. Thus, the lactiferous ducts opening on the nipple. So we can see the more clearly. This is the enlarged ducts lobes uh, in the lactating female. Suspensory ligament of Cooper. Suspensory ligament of Cooper anchored to the pectoralis fascia by the suspensory ligament of the Cooper that were first described by Astley Cooper in 1840, and the name of this Cooper, it is this suspensory ligament also named the suspensory ligament of Cooper. It runs throughout the breast tissue parenchyma from deep fascia beneath the breast and attached to the dermis of the skin. Being somewhat lax allow for the natural motion of the breast and it will be relaxed with age and time, eventually resulting in breast ptosis. It means the sagging of the breast. When it relaxes with age and then the breast start to sag. What is the arterial supply, venous drainage, and nerve supply of the breast? Blood supply. First, we will discuss the blood supply of the breast. Axillary artery, superior thoracic artery, thoracoacromial artery, lateral thoracic artery, subscapular artery. These are the branches of this artery. And internal thoracic artery perforating branches to the anteromedial breast and second to fourth anterior intercostal arteries. The second perforating artery is usually the largest, supplies the upper region of the breast, the nipple, areola, and adjacent breast. You can see here the axillary artery, acromiothoracic artery, lateral thoracic artery, and posterior intercostal artery. All these supply to the breast region. Now we will discuss the venous drainage. Veins follows the arteries. First converge around the nipple to form an anastomotic venous circle and then form the two set of the veins. Superficial veins drain into internal thoracic vein and superficial veins of the lower part of the neck. Deep veins drain into internal thoracic, axillary, posterior thoracic vein. Intercostal veins communicate with the vertebral veins. This route is responsible for metastasis of CA breast, carcinoma of the breast, to the vertebral bodies, sacrum and pelvic bones. So we can see the venous drainage of the breast here more clearly here. Now is the nerve supply of the breast. 4 to 6 intercostal nerves by their anterior and lateral cutaneous branches. The nipple is supplied from the anterior branch of the lateral cutaneous branch of the T4. It forms an extensive plexus within the nipple. Its sensory fibers terminate close to the epithelium as free endings. Meissner corpuscles and Merkel disc endings. These are essential in signaling suckling to the central nervous system. Secretory activities of the glands are largely controlled by ovarian and hypophyseal hormones rather than by afferent motor fibers. The areola has fewer sensory endings. So you can see here the nerve supply of the breast. Now we will see the lymphatic drainage. Breast is originally an ectodermal tissue. Thus, its lymphatic drainage is mostly parallel to the lymph flow of the overlying skin. The lymphatic flow of the breast is of the great clinical significance because metastatic dissemination occurs principally by the lymphatic routes. Lymph nodes axillary that can be anterior, posterior, central, lateral, apical, and interpectoral, and internal memory that can consist of 10% of all these total of the lymph nodes, and others will be 5% that can be supraclavicular, cephalic, posterior intercostal, subdiaphragmatic, subperitoneal. The axillary lymph nodes are 20 to 40 in numbers and grouped as anterior, posterior, lateral, central, and apical, and only the apical group is the terminal lymph nodes. Other lymph nodes, internal memory or peristernal nodes, they are variable in numbers and lie along the internal memory vessels deep to the plane of the costal cartilage. Most are near the bifurcation of the intercostal and internal memory veins. Afferents drain into the jugular veins. Interpectoral nodes, a few nodes lying between the pectoralis major and minor muscles. Supraclavicular and other nodes. Some lymph from the breast also reaches the supraclavicular nodes, deltopectoral nodes, posterior intercostal nodes, subdiaphragmatic and subperitoneal plexus. Lymphatic from the left breast terminates in the thoracic duct and subsequently the left subclavian vein. On the right, they ultimately drain into the right subclavian vein near its junction within the internal jugular vein. Lymphatic vessels, the superficial lymphatics and the deep lymphatics and subareolar plexus of the SEPI is a network of lymphatics in the areola of the nipple, and it is a good site for injecting dye during a sentinel lymph node biopsy. So we can see here the lymphatics. Sentinel lymph node, why it is very important? The biopsy was clinically used for penile carcinomas and the first node in a regional lymphatic basin that received lymph flow from the primary tumor. And the most lateral of the anterior group of the lymph nodes is the usual site of sentinel lymph node in the carcinoma of the breast. Sentinel lymph node biopsy is indicated in the patients with clinically node negative disease. Now we will see birds. American College of Radiology has devised the breast imaging reporting and data system, a standardized method for describing the morphology of breast lesion. These are described for imaging of the breast for the treatment of any disease or the carcinoma of the breast. Now we will to assess by yourself. You have studied the anatomy of the breast and you have studied the all the structure of the breast completely and the neurovascular supply also, and you have studied the lymphatic and lymph nodes of the breast also. Now you have to give the answer of this question. First is explain axillary tail. What is the axillary tail and why it is very important? Second is explain lymphatic drainage of the breast. So you have to write down answer of all this question. Thank you. Thank you so much.